everybody, and welcome back to another very special VIP tournament here on Ultimate Golf. I'm Duff, your host, and these VIP tournaments are a chance for you guys to play shot for shot, hole for hole with some very special guests. We've had fellow players, we've had game developers, we've had celebrities, and occasionally we get a pro athlete. We throw some fun missions at you along the way. As you complete those, you can win some fantastic prizes. Today's special guest was a college standout and currently kicks in the NFL. We are joined by Cade York. Cade, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are y'all doing?
I am doing very well. It only took the first 5 seconds to get a y'all out of you. I love it. Being the good Canadian, you might hear a couple A's out of me as we go. But Cade, go ahead, hit your tee shot on number 1 there, and we can start this fun. So Cade, we'll start off nice and easy here. Do you golf in the real world?
I do golf in the real world.
Are you
a better drive than I hit most times?
You'll find that quickly in this game that it is, you wish your shots were as good as this. Are you a decent golfer? Do you get out much? I know you're a busy guy.
I'm probably around like an 8 to 9 handicap.
That
not
is
too shabby.
That's a golfer. Down in the anything down in the single digits, I think, counts as being a real golfer.
Oh yeah.
So Cade is playing Latrobe, the home of Arnold Palmer. He, of course, grew up on this course. His old man was the groundskeeper. His mom and dad met playing golf here at Latrobe, just outside of Pittsburgh. And that's what Cade is playing today. So Cade, you started off all the way back in Texas, playing a little soccer and football, as I understand. Now, being Canadian, the whole big Friday Night Lights thing is kind of mind-boggling for me. How big was your high school stadium?
So we were the last, my senior class was the last class to play in the smaller stadium. We had this old high school that was now a middle school that we played out there at. And it probably only fit in the stands like 5-ish thousand, but outside, like around the stands, like we had like another, like a crazy more, like, so it felt like it was super packed. But then my brother was a freshman when I was a senior, and he got to play in the new stadium, which was like a crazy big stadium, like fits like 20,000.
That is insane. That is so cool to be, 16, 17 years old playing in front of that big crowd.
Oh yeah.
Now, so you played soccer and you were kicking back. Were you always a kicker, or were you a position player?
No, I didn't start kicking until I was a freshman in high school. And at first it really wasn't. It was just kind of something for me to do. It wasn't necessarily it wasn't like a go, like, I thought soccer was going to be my main thing for the longest time, because I played that growing up for like 14 years, and then somewhere along the way, like sophomore, junior year, soccer kind of flipped, because football kind of just took over. I got ranked pretty high as a kicker, and kind of all just went the right direction for me that way.
Did it ever? So leaving high school, obviously you ended up at LSU, pretty well known for their football program. Let's watch this putt actually. Get in. Oh no, burns the left edge. So you end up at LSU. What was that decision like? Was that like a big deal? Did you visit a lot of schools? How'd you end up there?
I visited probably, so I got, my first offer was from Minnesota when about halfway through my junior year. Oh my gosh, my dog is going crazy.
That's fine. This is even better.
That is no water bottles. Hold on, I need to go take her water bottle away. No water bottles. That's so loud.
So apparently in the NFL, you get a water boy at the field, but not at your house.
Well, she just takes them when I'm done with them and decides to make an insane amount of noise with them. All right, sorry about that.
No, you're good. So Minnesota was obviously way too cold, and so you don't end up there. LSU, obviously high on the list.
Yeah, so Minnesota, I did go in April, and there was like 3 feet of snow, so that was a bit of a shell shock. Not that I'd say it's too cold, but first offer, kind of just waited out a little bit, and then got an offer from Air Force, and then went to an LSU camp the last day of my junior year, like the day after it ended. Went to my sister's graduation, and I went to the camp the next day and got an offer from there and just took it on the spot because there wasn't anything that was really going to end up being better than that. So I just went for it, and it worked out.
Did it ever? So,
quite a great decision.
Right out of the gate, there's not a lot of people that get to say they played like D1 high level football, collegiate football, and there's even fewer that get to say they were national champs. So,
oh yeah, it was perfect timing.
Like, what an incredible way to come into there! Like, just absolutely incredible. And I can't bring up LSU without talking about the shoe game, though.
Oh yeah.
So we go to why don't you walk me through it? Let's start with there's 2 minutes left. Florida takes a penalty. You guys are 3rd and 10. They take a stupid penalty because they throw a shoe. You guys start out 1st and 10 now. And then where do you go from there? What do you remember from there?
So yeah, on that 3rd down, I remember kind of just sitting there or standing on the sideline, like way down the field, like watching. I remember I saw through like the shallow route out to Cole, and I remember seeing him get tackled. That's all I saw, and I just turned away and went to go like put the stuff back up in the net, and I was kind of pissed off. I was like, dang, that would have been cool. And then I hear a bunch of people talking, or I hear a bunch of murmurs, and I turn back around and realize that they threw a flag. It's like, oh, what was that for?
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, it kind of just drives all of a sudden back in play, and like 30 seconds later or something like that, it's 4th down on the 39, and kind of just goes into a blur. Remember, went out there, it was supposed to be a Mayday field goal, like we were rushing because we didn't have a timeout. And then they called a timeout, and I don't really remember what happened or how long the timeout was. Kind of was in the zone there. I remember going out, couldn't see anything. It was so foggy.
The announcers couldn't even see your kick.
Yeah, it was super foggy. I think the TV copy's better because they they lowered the camera or something like that.
Yeah.
But for our point of view, they were flashing the lights so much with the LED lights that it was hard to see anything through the fog. It just lights up like a cloud basically. But hit it, kind of knew where the uprights were just based off what I could see at ground level. Felt good off the foot, and I kind of just knew it was in.
It wasn't a chip either. It was a 57-yarder with 27 seconds left to win it. And that was a big upset too. Florida was 6th in the nation at that point too. And
yeah, at that point they were fighting to get into the playoffs, and it kind of just put a final little shot in their season.
So they end up coming down. They had a try at it with no time left. Now, Is there a kicker code? Are you allowed to not cheer for him, or were you going, oh dear God, missed this?
Everybody's a little different. I knew Evan, and I'm a big fan of his, and he's killing it in Cincinnati.
Yep.
He is he's a money kicker. So as soon as they started marching down the field, I was like, well, dang it. I did a lot of celebrating after that field goal, so it looked pretty dumb if they ended up coming back and tying it. I don't ever cheer for a kicker to miss. I know that's not probably what my teammates would want me to think or say when the opposing kicker is going out there, but we've all been in each other's shoes, and I don't think everyone might not have the same ideas as me when it comes to that, but I'm definitely someone where I'm not really. I hope you make all your kicks, but I hope you only kick field goals and we score a bunch of touchdowns. So
there you go.
Out there.
Now I got to ask you, when that was done, after you hit the kick, I saw you on the sideline, and it was either a cheer or it might have been a little chomp there. Was that a little chomp? Do you remember doing that?
Oh
it was
yeah,
definitely a chomp. It was definitely a chomp.
Looking back on it, it 100% should have been a 15-yard penalty.
That was fine. I think you were off the sideline. Who cares? It was over. It was overdone with that at that point. All right, Cade's on the long par 5 here, hole 3 at Latrobe. Gonna give this a little run.
Can I go for this?
Oh yeah, you're getting there. Just blast it. So if you pull back all the way as far as you can when you're hitting your shot, you go into like an overpower.
Keep it in the green.
No, pull back all the way back and add some power. Keep going.
Oh, it's just faster. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have gone too far.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You should sit up there nice, actually. There you go.
All right. I'm getting the hang of the putting. I feel like everything... I played a little bit before this, and I was sending a bunch past the hole.
So you'll notice there if it's green, so there's that little white arrow. If you can, get that one as close to the hole as you can. And then, there you go. Perfect.
Oh.
That'll go in.
In the hole.
That's going to go. That's going to go. That's going to go. Yes! Oh, really? I'm going to say it's good. How hacky is that?
That was
hacky. Anyway, it's good. I didn't even mean to do that. -2. That's his first eagle. So he's -2
no
after
birdie,
3.
straight to eagle.
You're going to birdie the par 3. I guarantee it. You're going to birdie the par 3. So making the transition from high school to college ball, I mean, LSU's like big school, big stadium. Like they pack the stands. Like you're on TV. Was that huge? Like, did you just walk around like, oh my god, this is so cool? Like your entire freshman year, or do you kind of get used to it?
It's kind of like a little kid not knowing not to touch the hot stove. You really don't know like what you're doing until something happens. I remember started off the year hot. I think I started out like 7 for 7 or 8 for 8. I kind of just like, well, this is easy. Like this, I guess this is how it goes. And then you miss a kick in front of 104,000 people, and like, oh, that's why people don't do well at this sometimes. But I think one of the biggest things that was a blessing for me was I had a year where, yes, it mattered what I did, and I had some moments where I stepped up and I did well in, but also there were times that we scored so many freaking points that sometimes a field goal didn't really matter too much. So that was helpful, and definitely had a really strong team to kind of have my back.
Now, having said that, you did, and you alluded to that there, you did have some very high-pressure situations, and that was like one of the number one things on your like sheet coming out of college was this kid is good in high pressure. Is that something you had to learn, or have you always kind of just been good with pressure?
I think it's not something that you can really relate to, especially in soccer. Like there's like maybe like a PK shootout you can compare it to, or if you're a goalie, like something that's kind of a little more individual. But I think it's kind of there's different personalities, and some people will fall back on their good techniques, some people fall back on bad techniques, and some people just kind of have times where they shine in big moments. And I've had times I've shined in big moments, and I've had times where I didn't do what I wanted to in a big moment. You just got to become one of the guys that is more often doing what he's supposed to in big moments and what he's not supposed to be doing. I don't know if it's so much something that can be a learned trait or something that just has to do with confidence, but I've had a few moments where I've been able to do what I need to do.
And yeah, absolutely. And we've all seen it. All right, let's hit this putt. Speaking of doing things you need to do. We're going back to back under par. There's the birdie on for the par 3. So we go par, eagle, birdie. Let's stay on this trend of below par. We're going to birdie this par for number 5. So very, very
I don't know if I've
successful.
ever been 3 under through 4.
Oh, dude, we're going to finish this at like 15 or 18 under. You're going to be blown away. I've shot around at minus 40 under. It's insane.
Oh, jeez.
So, very, very successful college career. I want to know where you were when you get that call from the Browns that this is it. First of all, did you know you were going to get drafted? Like, were you expecting it? And where were you when it happened?
Yes, so I was pretty sure I was getting drafted. I talked to the Browns a lot in that time period. And it had been pretty apparent that they were seen to be the most interested, but you also you hear a bunch of stories you don't know. Sometimes a team won't even like act like they're interested in you, and all of a sudden they'll like come out of nowhere and draft you. So I've had a couple of situations where I didn't know exactly what's going to happen, but third day came around. I was in Baton Rouge at the Walk On Sports Bar in like a little room to the side with a bunch of family and friends.
Cool.
And yeah, I got the call there, and it was funny because we were in that side room, but it was also going on in the actual bar. So you heard like the cheer coming here when I got the call, and then like a few minutes later we heard the cheer out there because they saw it pop up on the TV. So it's pretty funny.
Man, what a feeling! And then going back to so few people have played college ball, have won a national champion, and now that gets reduced even further, get drafted into the NFL. So you end up in Cleveland, and then you have probably one of the greatest starts by a kicker ever, making their debut in a game. What was that? 4 for 4, 2 extras, and a game winner from 58. Like, are you just walking around like you're on cloud 9 after? Like, is that it? Like, all right, I'm done. I've done it all.
It was definitely similar to that. It was a crazy feeling. It was kind of a feeling of like similar to like the hot stove thing I talked about with going to college. It was like, oh, like I guess this just happens here too. Like I guess this is just what my life's going to be like.
I'm just
and
good.
Obviously, it's not that easy, or can't just say that every time. And definitely had my ups and downs last year, and had great start and had some great moments, but also had to be more even keel and figure out how to be the super consistent guy rather than the guy that has the superstar moments and then has the moments like, oh, what was that? You know, just like golfers, you know, like somehow I'm 5 under right now, but I could get a triple on this next hole, so who knows?
You could. I'm not going to let that happen to you, though, Cade. We're not going to let that happen. So the difference going from high school to college and then from college to NFL, now all of a sudden guys are making millions of dollars. The team puts in millions and millions, not saying college doesn't, but millions of dollars into facilities. You've got chefs and cooks and people at your disposal pretty much 24/7. Is it as surreal as I imagine it to be? Like, is it just like awesome?
You have to be very aware of being aware of that and not just letting the moment seem normal. I think that's something I really learned to take advantage of and be careful of, is just like to be thankful for every moment. And anytime you walk into work, whether like you're in the NFL, you're working for whatever team, you have some sort of role for this team, and there's only so many people that get to do that. I think when you really sit back and like think on it, it is super surreal, and there's a lot of people that would want any job you have in the NFL. So I think that was a big thing I had to learn, is like just be super thankful for every moment you have there, because this isn't going to last forever. The NFL stands for not for long. Only the longest people in the NFL get to play 20 years, and that's only a few people. So it's there's a lot more people that have very short stories. So just be thankful for what you get.
What a great attitude! Absolutely fantastic. All right, let's get this this par 5 tee. There we go. We get into that overpower, and then we're gonna work on we'll see what your approach shot looks like here. Oh no! We found the rough. He is human. It's all right. We might be able to still get up there. 200 yards out.
All right, how do I aim this thing?
See if that target will go any further towards the hole. It'll go a bit. Now, see, I would go to your spin in the bottom left, add full top spin onto it.
Mm-hmm. All right,
and then, we'll just add full top spin, and then we're going to get it to kind of bounce up best we can. We're going to try and land it in the fairway on this side of the rough, and it should hop up there. With that headwind, you're not going to make that second fairway, but whatever. We're gonna blast it, see how close we get, and we'll work on an approach shot.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah, so with the rough irons, that needle speed picks up quite a bit. Being into the overpower picks it up even more. That's all right. we're gonna have another little rough shot here, but I'm gonna bet you're gonna give it a little run. We'll get close.
All right. Gotta probably land this short of the green. Oh, I need to get rid of the top spin. That's what it is.
Yes, it'll reset between each hole. Yeah, so you can go full backspin here if you want. A little bit better control.
Oh, I can only go so much in the rough. You think that's still going to bounce up there?
Oh, yeah. As long as you can see that guide go up there, you'll be good. The wind, you can probably go left a little bit. The wind will take it back to the right, but...
Oh. See, I'm not even taking this stuff into account.
Yeah, it's for real. It's like, the more you play, the deeper you get into this. Well, the goal here is to have a short putt.
Oh, no spin at all.
Oh, we reset it. That's all right. Who cares? You're getting pretty good.
See,
at
that
these
might be
putts.
something I actually might be a little bit better at in real life than wedge game seems to be pretty strong for me most times.
So I got to ask you a kicker specific question. The different colored shoe. So for me, as a Canadian, I'm a hockey guy. Someone wears a tinted visor, we're chirping them. Different color shoe, what's your stance on this? Are we chirping? Do we like it? Do we not?
So, do you mean different color, like the cleats are different colors, or do you mean that their color doesn't, their cleats don't match?
I get that you have a specific shoe just for kicking, and your off-foot shoe may not match it completely, but does it need to be a different color?
See, the only time I ever worn different cleats, like not the same on both feet, was last year, and it's because with the bad weather, the field could get messed up sometimes and stuff like that, and there were no cleats I could get for the like the soft ground cleats, the soccer ones. I couldn't find any that matched, so I got as close as possible. I had like a black cleat and then like a brown cleat, so it was close enough. There are some guys that just wear like whatever cleat the team gives them, and then they just have their cleat that they like to wear on their other foot, so sometimes it doesn't match. I've never, for the most part, I like to wear the same cleat on both feet so they do match. So I don't necessarily always have that problem, but I have had certain games where I had to wear a different one because the ground was getting messed up.
Speaking of ground getting messed up, there's a certain podcast out there by a tight end and an Eagle brothers that is going around, and they're making a big push right now. Shout out Taylor Swift. They're making a big push right now of how horrible the turf is. Is it as bad as they're making it out to be?
So it depends on the type of turf and which stadium and like what the weather's like, stuff like that. There's a type of turf called slip film it's basically the cheapest and the oldest turf where like if you like pulled it out, it's like an accordion and it all like kind of goes, it's all attached. And that one's known for having like the most injuries because there's no, like if you saw, there's some videos of like the Aaron Rodgers injury where if that ground might have been able to give out like dirt, how you like can just scrape through it, if it would have been able to give out, then it might save some injuries because in a turf it's just going to stick and like lock in there sometimes. But then there's also the complete opposite scale. I know some people don't like the Arizona. They have grass in their indoor, and it's been known to be like super. Do I have to chip out here? Oh no.
Let's move your target over the right. So because you can't see the line and it's red, but if you move your target out to the right, we might be able to find a line where you're not. Oh no, you're gooned.
Oh, there's a flag right in front of me. That's why.
All right, so there you go. So find that spot. Now you can add spin now, like maybe full top, full left, and that'll get you at least a little closer to the green. And then we're going to try and chip this one in. Yeah, there we go. And then this is one where you want to go in the middle of the circle, though. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
You missed the tree. We're good. You know what? It's not bad. Could have been way worse.
Anyways, but with the Arizona field, there's like been known to be like the grass gives out super easily and stuff like that, and there's a lot of slipping, like in the Super Bowl last year. So there's goods and bad to both of them, but I think there's a lot of injury prevention stuff that can come from using grass rather than turf.
Do you have a favorite stadium you played in?
Can I say college as well?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
If it's college, I would have to say biasly LSU, but I could also go, if I'm going outside of LSU, Alabama Stadium is pretty sweet.
Cade York
In the hole.
from deep. Nice chip.
I really enjoyed Alabama Stadium. They've got a cool setup. Texas Stadium, that was my first like really big game I ever played in. And then in the NFL, that's a tough one.
Click that
I
continue
mean,
button while
Carolina
you think.
Stadium I seem to like a lot, but
Yeah.
that one is turf as well, though.
So, indoor, outdoor, like wind is everything with a kicker, right? So, so like, would you prefer to be an indoor game with no wind just because you can trust you know what's going to happen, or do you like love the challenge of all right, give me a 15 gusting 20?
I mean, I always love a challenge. It definitely is something I had to, and I still am, having to get accustomed with is not adjusting too much for the wind. I think that was something I struggled with a little bit last year. That it's almost like, you know how Tiger Woods said if you hit your best ball, like the wind's not going to touch it. Oh, I was too worried about what the wind was going to do to my ball rather than just doing what I do. I think that's something I've really come to grasp with recently. And so I think, yes, it can be a challenge, and having a big enough leg to be able to be good in windy situations is a blessing. But it's also, when you go into playing an indoor game, it's also like a sigh of relief where you're like, oh, I don't have to think about something extra for the day.
So you brought up big legs. So I watched you in that compound training or the combine training session you had. You were hitting them like the 40-45ers. That's easy all day long. You hit an 80, and then you hit an 82. How far have you gone? What's the Cade York record?
80 and 82. What? I don't even know. I don't know if I ever hit 80 before.
That's what it said.
Maybe that was a kickoff. The furthest field goal I've ever hit, I think, is 77 or 78. And then kickoff, I've hit like 93.
93 yards.
Of course, this is some talking about wind. This is some nice wind that I had.
Yeah, we got some wind in there.
This isn't something I'm doing in an indoor.
We're going to go back and watch this because it was that kicker camp and he put 80 on the screen. So we'll go back and give him what for then if he was exaggerating. But there was a tailwind. They showed the little flags on the top of the post afterwards. But anyway, I swear I watched you hit an 80. Just smile and nod because 80 is impressive. Talking about the combine though, so the combine's a little bit different for kickers. What was that like? Like, are you there super nervous? Are you cheering for your buddies? Because you've played with and against pretty much everyone that's there, right? Like, is
or
a
lot of them at least.
Like, are y'all buddies going into it, or is it all like, screw you, I want your spot?
No, there's not much competing because everyone's chart, or at least for the specialists, while we are competing in the sense of who's going to get taken first, who's going to get the jobs, stuff like that, in the moment, we all kind of want each other to do well. Like, we don't want to, like I said, unless someone has a different attitude than I do. I know, at least for myself, I wanted to see everyone there that I knew do well. That whole process was a little different. We came in, I don't know what day of the week it was, but we came in one day, and the first day you kind of just get there, you go through orientation, you do a bunch of like medical stuff where you're getting poked and prodded and taking your blood and drug testing and all that kind of stuff. And then the next day you have some interviews, and then you do more medical stuff. I remember they go through all like your injuries or like the report that LSU gave them about like what I like either had injuries or whatever I had at LSU going on, whether I had a concussion or a sprained ankle or all that kind of stuff. And LSU did me the favor of mentioning every single thing ever went wrong with me.
Don't shoot this yet. Don't shoot this yet. Don't shoot this. You can go right at the green. You can go right at the green.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, so go move your target over.
Oh.
Watch this. Yeah, and then a little top spin, a little right spin.
Top spin and a right spin. I'm learning.
Yes. And then we're going to add, so instead of pulling straight back, you're going to pull back to the right. So we're going to...
Back to the right, add a little slice in there?
Yeah. We'll be polite and call it a power fade, right? You never want to say slice.
I know all about that.
Power fade. Little cutter. Watch this. We're going to give you...
Far right?
I don't know. You're going to be good. You're going to be real good. We're going eagle.
I'll take that.
We're going eagle on the par 4. This is like a chip. You got this all day. So LSU decided to mention, and then I cut you off because I wanted you to get up here. Finish that story.
LSU gave them, like, if I came in and, like, hey, I slept wrong on my neck and my neck hurts, they, like, wrote back spasm and, like, stuff like that. So I had just this crazy long list. I missed my very last game at LSU because I strained my quad, and it was super minor, but it was like, we know what's going on. We're not going to, like, take a chance in this, making things worse for you, making this, like, a big deal. So, like, there was really no big injuries while I was at LSU. And I ended up being in the hospital for, like, over 12 hours, getting MRIs and all that stuff, just to, like, because the teams want to make sure you're healthy if they're going to take a chance on you, they're going to make sure you're healthy. And
no, for Eagle. That's all right.
Definitely make sure you're healthy and all that, so they don't have any issues when you get there. So I was in the hospital getting MRIs for like 12 hours because other people are waiting to get MRIs and stuff like that. So that's a crazy experience. You have meetings with coaches. You go through an interview process with them. You do like round table where you're sitting with different coaches and stuff like that. Our process for the specialists is a little bit different than some of the other position groups. And then the last thing you do the entire time you're there, so you're there for 4 days, I think. And the last thing you do there is you do like the kicking portion, where the punters go, then you all kick off, and then you have field goals. So it's like the very last thing you do.
So it's like hurry up and wait, right? Like it's you just sit around.
A lot of hurry up and wait, and then it's at the very end. It's very you're like, oh, it's over, and then you go home.
And then you sit and wait. No, but like you said, you had an inkling Cleveland was going to take you. All right, hole 10, the par 3. We're starting the back half. Now I've got to ask, as a single-digit handicapper that's out there golfing, when you hit that turn, do you like to plow right through, get to 10, or are you like you don't have to say beer, but a beer and a hot dog, have at least a bite at the halfway house?
It depends on what kind of round I'm there for. If I'm there with a group of buddies and it's a fun round, we might stop and grab a beverage and a snack or something like that. Sometimes I like to go play by myself, just put some AirPods in and listen to music and go play. If it's like that, I'm trying to power through and get quick. Let as many people or have as many people let me play through as possible. If it's just like a slow day, it's just me and a buddy or something like that, I'll probably stop and grab something just because I'm tired of sitting at a tee box, just do something a little bit different. But definitely, it's like a 50-50, depends on the course too.
That is a very fair answer. I'm with you as well. It depends what's going on, and sometimes depending on the round's going, you might stay and have 2 beverages at the turn. Let that group go. Hey, you guys go ahead. I'm good. I'm gonna have one more. Hole 11. Yeah, we can. You can't quite get up there, but this is one of those grip it and rip it. Just let it fly. Yeah, add some topspin. How far do you hit it off the tee, Cade?
Just recently, I've started getting some distance back. The driver's been like my one issue for like 2 years, and I've gone from being like an 18. I've been playing golf since the summer before my sophomore year. So like right when we came back on campus, like a few months after COVID started, was when I started playing golf. So it's been like a little over 3 years now.
Yeah.
I went from being like an 18 handicap to what I am now in the last like 2 years. And I swear I used to hit my drive further when I sucked than I do now. But just recently I've started getting back to like hitting it further again. So I'd like to say if I hit it really well, I can hit it 300 or like sometimes a little over it. I've of course had my huge ones that I don't really count. They're just the outliers. But I like to say probably like anywhere from like 250 to 280. I'm not very consistent. Usually it's in play. It's just I've had issues with it being like super spinny off the tee before. But my irons are where I usually make up the difference.
Now that you're not a student on a budget, have you golfed any really nice courses, or do you have any like dream courses on the list that you'd love to hit up one day?
So I haven't done anything crazy. I'm a big fan of, if I get the chance, of playing free golf. So like I used to play, like we had a course we worked with a lot in Cleveland that I played all the time, and it was my favorite course ever. I think the best course I've played is TPC Louisiana, or the fanciest course I've played is TPC Louisiana, which is a fun one. I played a decent amount like nice country clubs, but nothing like. I played TPC Craig Ranch, which is where the Byron Nelson is, but it was also like 35, 40 degrees.
Oof.
And it was windy. So it was fun, but it was like a crazy experience. But other than that, I haven't played. That's one of my like goals the next like off season is to go and experience some like really cool courses. Maybe go on like a bros trip somewhere. See if I can get that figured out.
There's certainly so many out there. I think for me, I don't know. There's so many in the States that I would love to do and go experience, but like bros trip, I mean, I think I gotta go over to the UK and like you gotta go to St. Andrews. You gotta. I don't know what I would do. So we've got in Ultimate Golf, we've got a pile of like really cool courses. We've got Harbour Town PGA course. We've got Bay Hill. We've got Torrey Pines. We've got Sedgefields. And we've got some more common. Here's the teaser. Some really, really big names. Very recognizable household name courses coming in Ultimate Golf. Look at this. We even get the fancy camera shot. Cade York with the birdie. Wait for the score to come up here. I forget what you're at.
I think it just said 10 under through 11.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I think one thing I want to do the Branson, Missouri trip. Go play the Tigers courses up there. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options too. I mean, you could literally. There's so many courses in the state. You can throw a dart, and within 3 or 4 hours, you can probably drive this one too, or get close to it. Do some pretty awesome trips. So you mentioned off season. What's the off season like in the life of a NFL kicker? Like, do you take some time off for the first couple weeks? Do you stay into it right away? Like, where's your body wise first? What do you do?
Yeah, there's some different thought processes. There's guys that stop kicking and don't start till like OTAs. Oh, yeah, it's probably aim. There's some guys that don't start or stop kicking and don't start again until like OTAs. It's kind of like up to different people's like perspectives. Yep. I was a guy last year after rookie year. You've been kicking for like 2 years straight, basically, because you don't get a break much in college and you didn't get the spring off. So I didn't kick from like January until like mid-March. I think this year something I want to do is I want to just limit the amount of kicking I do. Go from kicking 3 times a week when I start or twice a week that I just kick once a week the whole off season and just really limit my reps. But I'm also like, I never like take a big step back. It's a time in the off season where kickers can like get way more into working out and lifting, because in the season we can't like kill our legs. Like, you have to be able to be fresh and stuff like that. So it's a good time to be able to like run a lot, do a lot of like leg work and stuff like that, and just make sure you like build up your core and be real healthy so you don't have any troubles with injury in the next season. So it's It's a little different because a lot of times for the other players, they'll be focused on like taking a big like break for their body because they've been getting beat up all year, and it's kind of the opposite. It's the first time we can really start to beat ourselves up with like working out, you know.
That's super interesting. Something I never really thought about. That like you're not going to be doing leg days every day in the season because that's your bread and butter. That's your legs, your money maker. You can't afford to do something with it, so you got to do all that stuff in the off season. It makes perfect sense. Look at that. You and I learned something today. So what is the average day like? Like, are you getting up in the NFL? Like, do you guys do team breakfast, and then are you doing meetings, team lunches? Do you have like free time during the day? Do you have like little groups? Is there like a kicker group? How does that work?
So it's different team by team for sure. I know now we wake up and we have either a squad, which is like a team meeting, or special teams meeting by like 8, and then later in the week it moves back to like 9. So you go in and you have breakfast before that. Some people like to work out before that. Some people meet with their coaches. I know on Fridays we have like Bible study before that. So that's always like a good thing. And then we have meetings the first basically half the day. After team meeting is usually special teams meeting, and then after special teams meeting it's usually like offense, defense, and like position group meetings. Like you go and meet with your position coach. So after that we'll go and meet in our special teams coordinator's office and kind of just hang out. If we need to talk about something, we talk about it, but we also just talk about stuff and have fun. And then there's another one I can drive for you. Wait, what's going on here?
It's sneaky long. It's a par 5, so it's sneaky long. You kind of got to place your tee shot. It's that fairway off to the left.
Here, and then I'm going to do this. But then I'm going to fade it.
So it won't. It's going to land in that rough.
Even if I fade it?
So if you're going to have to miss like off into the yellow on the right. So if you're fading it, it's only the ball flight in the air. It's not affecting the landing position. So if you move that target over to the right, if you move that over to the right, kind of over where that one
there we go.
Yeah. Even there, you could probably miss right a little bit. Well, still, even if you're in the rough, you'll have a shot at it.
So yeah, and then we have meetings, and then it's kind of like you get a chance to go have lunch. And then practice is at noon, and then we have practice, and then afterwards, depends on the day, but you can have a chance to go eat a little bit again, and then you can go and you have position meetings again to meet about practice. And then usually I'm out of the building by anywhere from like 3 to 4:30, sometimes like 5. So like our free time, sometimes it's really long days, and there's days where you're there till like even later than that, like depending on where you're at in the season and stuff like that. But sometimes you're also home early, and it's pretty nice. But while you're there, it's a long day.
And I think that's something people don't realize is that football players, like they get the perception of whatever, big dumb jocks or whatever, but like it is not that way at all. It is, you guys are like you said, in meetings and you're watching tapes, and I know you guys all got your iPads and you're going over and you're watching like film from the week before and stuff that's coming up this week. And like you said, we have meetings about what the practice is going to be. So you can't just like fake your way through this. I don't know. I don't think the NFL was that way 40 years ago, but it sounds not boring or anything, but it sounds intense, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
There's probably a lot more, like just over time with technologies, there's a lot more emphasis on the meeting stuff and the film stuff, and like get a lot more technical and that stuff, a lot more planning. When before it was probably less of that and more like going out there and banging heads and doing it for longer. So I wouldn't say necessarily the days are, again, I'm ignorant because I wasn't playing 15, 20 years ago, but I would say the days are probably similar, maybe a little bit shorter days now. But also, like, they spent more, like they'd have 2-a-days, which is not allowed anymore. So it's like, just like the evolution of like the game and stuff like that.
You might want to throw some backspin on this one.
Yeah, backspin.
Try and keep it around the green. Keep it putting here. Cade, your hole 14 at Latrobe. Were you? Let's watch this approach shot first. Come on, this rattler should bite. It's actually going to be a decent little shot. You'd be happy with that one in the real world. 8-foot putt for birdie on the par 5.
I'd be happy with all these in my life.
Now, you obviously played a lot of sports growing up. Did you ever hang out with the boys and play any games? Were you a gamer at all throughout your childhood and or now?
Actually, this is crazy. Just recently, I plugged my Xbox in for the first time in like 5 months. Just because, like, I've had like time after practice when I get home, I'm kind of just like, I don't know what to do right now. Yeah. So if I have enough free time, I've been playing some Apex with some of my old high school buddies.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot. Like, I've never been someone that can play Xbox by myself. Like, I can't just go and like play with random people online. I have to be like in the mic with like my friends, because then it's like, okay, now I'm like, the communicating with my friends part is really the fun part, like just being stupid and like having fun. But recently, I've actually, I don't know what it is, I've played a little bit of just on my own. So it's been kind of a new thing for me. But then, of course, I'm not just going and playing by my own the whole time. I'm basically waiting for them to get on with me.
Yeah, come on, guys.
And then once they get on with me, that's the real stuff.
That's cool. So do you still like hang out with guys from high school? Like, have you got that group chat going? Like you said, you obviously game and stuff like that.
Definitely have like group chats. I will say like the style, like the lifestyle that comes along with being like with our job is we go to random states and play for teams that we don't really have a choice for the most part. Not that I don't want to be here. I love being here. But it's not like you're just taking in your moves. I was the only person from my high school except for one person that went to LSU. So automatically, it's creating a whole new crowd, and the lifestyle you live, you can't do everything that other people do. You can't go out and do a bunch of fun stuff all the time. Sometimes you got to stay committed to what you got to do. So I think it's just over time, it's come with sacrificing like some friendships because you're just going different ways in life, which is normal. But I still have my close friends from high school, like certain guys that I'm super close with and that I keep in touch with. But I'd say a lot of my friends nowadays are from the newer parts of my life. Guys from LSU, that was my close knit group there. Guys from the Browns, and then guys here in Tennessee. So it's different. I definitely still have my group of friends from like a small knit, like 3 to 5 people from high school. Not that I'm not friends with other people from high school, but people I'm openly communicating with all the time. It's definitely gone down over time.
So playing there in Tennessee, you have the chance to play with Christian Fulton, right? Who you won a national championship with.
Yes.
Are
yes,
you guys,
we did.
Are you guys tighter? Like, I imagine that bond never leaves, right? Or you guys were in different years, I know, but he was on his way out, you were on your way in. But
it's
you guys
definitely
were like
a bond
buddies for life.
It's definitely a bond that never leaves. But it's also, like you said, at that time I was the young freshman that they didn't really know who I was probably until like the Bama game where I had like 2 big field goals, and they're like, "Oh, like you're different from the kicker last year." Like, "Oh, I didn't know we changed kickers." Like, yeah, that guy graduated. He's gone. He's in California now. So so it's a little bit different. But definitely, yes, we know. Like, he knows who I am at least. Like, oh, no, you're with the Titans now. So it was cool. There's also like Arden Key played for LSU. He's obviously a bit older than me.
He was a bit older, yeah.
But he was a big LSU guy. So it's been cool to kind of be around some of those guys I heard about, but hadn't necessarily met before. So it's been cool.
Is there like we alluded to it like way back about not rooting against kickers. Is there like a little kicker fraternity at all? Like, are you in a group chat or anything with like other kickers in the NFL, or have you ever have you reached out to anyone, or are you buddies with anybody? How does
For
that
sure,
work?
yeah. So I have the only group chat I necessarily have. I have a group chat from the guys I was the same high school class as, because the way you get recruited coming out of high school is going to like camps.
Yep.
So I had a group chat with those guys, and we still message in there every once in a while. And then I have a group chat with all my specialist buddies from LSU. And then I have a bunch of the numbers of guys around the league that I've met before and close friends with, just through different like connections, whether just playing against them, working in the same area, like working out with those guys or stuff like that. You just get to meet guys and be around them a little more. And it's cool once you get to meet people like that. It's a cool connection because you have the same job, you kind of have the same connections, and you can reach out when they have successes and stuff like that. So it's fun.
I feel like there's a kicker secret society that you guys all like have a golf tournament off in the woods in the off season one year or every year.
Yeah, I'm just being very
none of us
vague
know
about it,
about.
so I don't give away the secrets.
I'm trying to expose it right now. You're like a tattoo behind your ear or something.
There are a
secret
lot of
side.
good kicker golfers, though. One of the first NFL kickers I met was Will Lutz with the Saints. His special teams coordinator that was there when he was brought into the Saints was Greg McMahon, and he was our special teams coordinator for LSU. My 3 years I was there, so that was a connection I had with him. And then we also train with the same coaches and get to be around each other every so often. So it's like he's someone I reach out to every once in a while. And he's a really good golfer.
That's awesome. I think I'm going to start something, the kicker golf tournament. All right, we're on 17 now. Cade York is having a fantastic round. You can push the target up and pound this one. Just hit it as hard as you can. You'll get up in that trap, and hopefully we'll knock an eagle down.
Yeah, traps are a lot easier in a video game than they are in real life.
Oh, yeah. You do not fear the trap.
That is actually probably worse than my driving. It's so streaky. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, it's coming out of the trap easy, and sometimes it's like I can't stop blading it out of the trap right now. I just avoid traps at all costs.
You see guys on the tour every once in a while blade one out and put it on the next tee deck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there. Seriously, here we go. We're gonna have a nice little chance here.
Like in real life, this would be miserable. I'd be up against the back lip,
and it could either be 2 feet or in that house we can see in the background, breaking a window. Equal chance of both of those happening. Sure. All right, Cade, favorite football movie? You got one?
Oh, that's tough. The Replacements, probably.
Replacements? Solid choice.
Solid. Wiry, you know?
I watched Waterboy the other day, and it's
hard to not say Waterboy, though.
I know, it's such a typical answer, but it holds up. It holds up.
It does. It always holds up. I thought I was going to scoot back a little bit. Yeah, the Waterboy's great. Like, you can never... Like, I don't think anyone can ever talk bad about Waterboy.
And then I was... I don't know, it was on TikTok or something, and there was a scene from Rudy, which is, of course, like 30 years old now. And, you know, they show you like 10 seconds of a clip, and then it hooked me. I had to go find it online and just go back and watch the whole scene. I was like, man, I forgot how good that feeling is. What is your... So you've had lots of ups, lots of downs so far in your career. What is that feeling for you? Like, what's been that moment so far in your football experience where you were like, oh man, that's it. That's my number one. I want to feel like that again.
I definitely say it's probably the game winner against Carolina last year. Just because, like, first game and it just happened just like that. You can't really beat that. There's been a lot of moments. Some moments that may not seem like it, but it was a big moment for me. Whether it had to do with what practice was like that week, or how hard that kick was. But the eye on TV might not be able to tell how hard it was. But stuff like that, there's some other moments like that. But definitely, in college, it was the Florida game, and in the last year in the NFL, it was definitely that Carolina game. So
lots of ties to Florida with the guys, the developers that make this game, and so that was one of them. Was one of the guys that co-hosts with me a lot of stuff. Hip Andrew. He's currently at Florida right now, and he definitely brought it up that I don't think he wanted it told, this story told, but out of all the people that could tell it, it's the guy that kicked the game-winning field goal. Well, Cade, we're going to end it. Look at this. We're going to end with the birdie. We started off par. We eagle 3, and then we get a pile of good shots out of you. What a great chat we had. Listen, man, I wish you nothing but success. You seem like a super smart young guy. You've obviously got a hell of a leg. And I love your attitude towards everything. We wish you nothing. There's the dog. Hey, buddy, what's your dog's name? Let's say hello.
Her name is Dot, because I don't know if you can't see it, but there's a dot on her back. And my dad's dog from college had a dot on her eye, and her name was Dot as well. So came to fruition with me as well.
So you get a Dot. If you ever get another one, you got to call it Dash, and then you have Dot Dash, which is Morse code.
Dot or Spot or something
there
like that.
There you go. Hey, listen, buddy. Let's. Good job. Fun little chat playing this tournament here. We wish you nothing but the best in your career here. Any final parting words? Anything maybe for the kids or for yourself, or anything you want to say to anybody out there, Cade? The floor is yours.
I don't know if I have too much to say. I just want to super thankful for being on here and getting to hang out with y'all, and it was a good time. Just everybody, I wish birdies for everybody and as few bogeys as possible.
Perfect.
Even though they're impossible to escape sometimes.
They certainly are. All right, guys. This has been another VIP tournament here on Ultimate Golf. We were joined by NFL kicker Cade York. I'm Duff, and we will see you next time.